Okay, I'm going to do something a little bit different with this episode 8, Confessions from the Healing Chair. On paper, I had it all together. 22-year Air Force veteran, 6-figure corporate career, the life that looks successful from the outside. But what a lot of people didn't realize is, and what you couldn't see, was that inside, I felt very unfulfilled. I was crumbling. I felt unsuccessful. I felt stuck. I felt like I was so stuck in my life. And here's a part of my story. I'm going to start sharing parts of my story. My story didn't begin with medals that I earned or boardrooms in the corporate world. My story began when I was 10 years old, practically raising my brother and sister, because my mom would often leave us alone for days at a time. She would leave on a Friday and not come back till Sunday. The reality is I grew up very fast. The library became my escape. And fast forward just a few years, at the age of 16, I left home. At 18, I joined the United States Air Force, thinking that structure and discipline would save me. And in some ways, my military career, it did save me. But the cost was very high. Deployments meant leaving my 2 sons behind. I carried immense guilt, exhaustion, and trauma that no amount of achievements could ever erase. And the reality is, after retiring from the Air Force, I spent a decade in corporate America. I rose to the top rather rapidly. I was in 3 high-level government positions in, government agencies. I had the paycheck, I had the title, and people would say that I should be happy. I had everything that I could ever desire. And yet I felt very stuck in patterns that I didn't understand, stuck manifesting the same painful cycles over and over. And after a decade in corporate America, at 51, I walked away from it all. I said, I'm done. And during that 10-year decade journey, I turned inward through studying Buddhism as a philosophy, not as a religion. I started studying trauma-informed healing. And that's when I realized that success without wholeness is not success at all. Again, from the outside, I looked like I had it all together. I had a retirement, 22-year Air Force veteran, 6-figure corporate position. But here's the deal. Why that matters for me is that's why I'm here now. That's why I'm here on this journey, because I know what it feels like to look like you have it all together from the outside, while inside you're silently just unraveling and you don't know why. And anybody from the outside would say, I have people all the time tell me, Lord, you got it all. You got it all. But I felt so stuck and I didn't even know why. But also I know this, that our story is not over until we say it's over. And trauma doesn't get the last word. That healing gets the last word. Alignment gets the last word. And you do too. And here's the reality to it all. The reality is that it wasn't until I earned my master's degree in psychology and started really diving in to the inward work and doing the shadow work and doing the work on myself that I realized that I'm trying to obtain happiness from something outside of me. And when I started doing the inner work, I realized that I write the story. I have the pen. I hold the pen, and I can write that story. And at 51, I walked away from a 6-figure corporate position, and I decided that I'm going to continue to do the work. At 52, I enrolled to obtain my doctorate. And here's the thing. The other thing is, all of these tattoos, I never had all these tattoos. As a matter of fact, my first tattoo till after I retired from the Air Force and I was 40 years old. But all of these tattoos tell a story. They all resonate and have a part of this journey that I've been on for the last decade. And I want to share with you that if any of this resonated with you, follow along. Because in my videos, I'm going to start sharing bits and pieces about my journey, my tools, and my heart. And most importantly, I want you to know that you can start writing the next chapter of your story too. And that the past has no relevancy on where you can go in the future. And if you've ever felt stuck, even if life looks good on the outside and it looks like you got it all together, drop a comment below, because I want to know, is anybody else felt stuck? Let's start this conversation together. And here's the deal, guys. It is possible to rewrite your story. It is possible to change the trajectory of where you're going. I'm living proof that even all of the trauma that I've endured, and over the next videos and the next episodes of Confessions from the Healing Chair, I'm going to be sharing more and more of that story. But I realize that the past doesn't define me. My trauma doesn't have to define me. And I have the opportunity to rewrite my story, which is what I'm doing now. So if this resonated with you, or any bit of it felt like somebody needs to hear this, please like and share this video and follow for more videos, because as the time progresses, I am going to be sharing and unraveling more and more of my story, and I want to share that journey with you. And most importantly, I want to say that I believe in you, and it is possible. It is possible for you too.